The heat disperses with a tranquil heart, coolness arises as the room is empty. Good morning, today is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Today in history, on this day 136 years ago, American microbiologist Selman Abraham Waxman was born. Waxman primarily studied soil bacteriology, with a focus on antibiotics. He achieved numerous breakthroughs, discovering actinomycin in 1940, patulin in 1942, and streptomycin in 1943. He later discovered neomycin and several other antibiotics. In recognition of his contributions, Waxman was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1952. Today is also the traditional Chinese solar term known as Greater Heat, the last solar term of summer. During this period, the sun is strong, temperatures are high, humidity is high, and it is often rainy. Although the heat and humidity can be oppressive, they create favorable conditions for crop growth. Qingqiao, bridging the business world and delivering information to you. Welcome to today's Qingqiao Morning News. Let's start with political updates. Von der Leyen re-elected as European Commission President. According to Reuters, on July 18, the European Parliament held a plenary session in Strasbourg, France, where Ursula von der Leyen was re-elected as President of the European Commission. She secured 401 votes in favor, 284 votes against, and 15 abstentions. The European Commission, a key executive body of the EU, is responsible for implementing the resolutions of the European Parliament and the Council of the European Union, proposing legislation, and upholding the Treaty of European Union. The vote was conducted secretly. Von der Leyen, who leads the European People's Party, the largest centre-right group in the European Parliament, solidified her position as one of Europe's most influential politicians with her re-election. Formerly Germany's defense minister, she is a strong supporter of Ukraine and a prominent advocate for the EU Green Deal. During her re-election campaign, she pledged to continue addressing climate change, earning the backing of the 53-member Green Party. Student protests in Bangladesh leave 32 dead. According to Agence France-Presse, Bangladeshi students have been demanding the abolition of the civil service recruitment quota system, leading to large-scale demonstrations across the country. Protests have occurred almost daily throughout July. Since last week, clashes between demonstrators and police have intensified, resulting in 32 deaths and thousands of injuries. A Bangladeshi TV official, speaking anonymously, reported that in Dhaka, protesters clashed with police, chased them to the TV headquarters, and set fire to the reception area and several parked cars. No casualties were reported from this incident. The Bangladesh government had planned to reinstate a civil service recruitment quota system, reserving more than half of civil service positions for specific groups, including the children of veterans from the 1971 Pakistan War of Independence. This move faced strong opposition from students, who argue that it would disproportionately benefit the children of pro-government supporters of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Hasina, re-elected for a fourth term in January, is facing significant pressure and challenges from the ongoing protests. In response, her government has ordered schools and colleges to close indefinitely and has struggled to manage the escalating law and order situation. Street violence escalated during the demonstrations, with police deploying rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse protesters. Many students, armed with wooden sticks, clashed with police in riot gear. Scattered burned items were also found on the roads. Bangladesh Justice Minister Anasu stated that efforts are underway to expedite court proceedings regarding the quota system, and the government is prepared to engage in talks with student protest leaders. Secondly, we'll bring you updates on military-related news. Germany plans to have military aid to Ukraine. Comprehensive news from Berlin. The German budget recently revealed a reduction in military aid to Ukraine for 2025, cutting the amount from €8 billion in 2024 to €4 billion. Germany cited the depletion of its weapons stockpiles due to chronic underinvestment and ongoing military support to Ukraine. In response, the G7, at the behest of the United States, has approved a $50 billion loan to Ukraine funded by frozen Russian assets, which Germany hopes will address most of Ukraine's military needs. Additionally, NATO Secretary-General Stoltenberg announced at the European Political Community Leaders meeting in the UK that NATO's military command in Basweiden, central Germany, will be activated in September. This command will provide security assistance, training, and coordinate support for Ukraine from NATO members. Now, let's turn our attention to the latest economic news. Disneyland California plans major strike. Agence France-Presse reported that on July 17, hundreds of employees at Disneyland Resort in California protested outside the park, demanding a salary increase and threatening to go on strike. The demonstration was organized by a union representing approximately 14,000 Disneyland employees. Some protesters wore costumes from Indiana Jones and Star Wars rides, while others held signs reading "Mickey wants fair pay" and "Disney, don't be evil." Disney has been negotiating with 4 California unions representing employees since April, but without success. The union also accused Disney of intimidating employees, noting that over 500 workers who wore union badges were reprimanded and warned. Disney claimed the badges, featuring Mickey Mouse with clenched fists, violated the Disney Image dress code. The National Labor Relations Board is investigating these allegations. If the employees strike, it will be the first strike at Disneyland since 1984, following last year's historic strike by Hollywood actors and screenwriters. India to lower minimum export price for basmati rice. According to Reuters, on July 18, Indian government sources indicated that, due to record-high domestic rice stocks, authorities are considering reducing the minimum price for basmati rice exports from $950 per metric ton to $800 to $850 per metric ton. This move aims to boost shipments and maintain market share against Pakistan, which has seen record rice exports this year due to New Delhi's export restrictions. Both India and Pakistan are major exporters of fragrant rice. India, the world's largest rice exporter, has imposed various restrictions on rice exports in 2023 to control domestic prices. In addition to lowering the minimum export price for fragrant rice, India is expected to cancel the 20% export tax on parboiled rice and introduce a minimum export tax to prevent underreporting of shipments. These changes could significantly impact the global rice market. Now, here is some important safety information. Peru bus plunges off cliff, 25 dead. According to Agence France-Presse, on July 16, a long-distance bus lost control and fell into a cliff while traveling through the mountainous area of Ayacucho province in south-central Peru. The accident resulted in at least 25 fatalities and 17 injuries. Valderrama, head of the Peruvian Highway Protection Department, stated that the incident occurred on the Liberation Highway in the Andes Mountains. The bus, which departed from Lima with 42 passengers, was en route when the crash happened. Frequent accidents on Peru's winding mountain roads are often due to factors such as speeding, poor vehicle and road conditions, insufficient traffic signs, weak enforcement of driving regulations, unlicensed driving, and drunk driving. Last year, over 3,130 people died in traffic accidents in Peru. Finally, here's some intriguing cultural news. Stegosaurus skeleton sells for $44.6 million, sets auction record. According to news from New York, on July 17, the largest unearthed Stegosaurus skeleton fossil was sold at Sotheby's for $44.6 million, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a dinosaur fossil. The Stegosaurus, named Apex, is nearly complete and estimated to be 150 million years old. It is described as one of the most complete skeletons ever discovered, measuring 3.3 meters tall and 8.2 meters long, with 319 bones, 254 of which are fossilized. The previous record was set in 2020 when a Tyrannosaurus rex, nicknamed Stan, sold for $31.8 million. The high price of Apex has frustrated many paleontologists, as few museums or research institutions can afford such an amount. Reports indicate that the anonymous buyer is an American who plans to lend the skeleton to relevant institutions for display. Financial newsletter. According to Xinhua Finance, China's main rapeseed meal contracts have recently surged, with increases of nearly 6%. The average spot price for rapeseed meal has risen to 2,495 yuan per ton, up by 55 yuan per ton. That's all for today's Xinjiang Morning News. Thank you for listening.